I remember the season when I was working 60-hour weeks, chasing every opportunity and missing dinner with my family. I told myself I was doing it for them, but the truth was, the hustle had become my identity. In this video, I'll show you how to break free from the hustle trap and actually accomplish more by doing less. We'll cover how to focus on what matters most, create margin for God to move, and grow your business with peace instead of pressure. I'm Kyle White. I built businesses, own over 100 properties, and I've coached entrepreneurs who are successful on paper, but exhausted in life. And I can tell you this, the hustle trap is real, but it's not God's design. And I can tell you from experience, when you trade hustle for alignment, everything changes. So this is the hustle lie, that more equals more. But here's the truth you need to understand. Working more doesn't mean winning more. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that if we just push harder, sleep less, and outwork everyone else, success will eventually catch up to us. But here's the thing, you can't out-hustle misalignment. We live in a world that worships busyness. Social media celebrates the grind. You hear quotes like, sleep when you're dead, and rise and grind, as if exhaustion is a badge of honor. And for a while, it feels right, because effort does produce results. But without clarity, effort eventually becomes chaos. You start running from one task to another, one idea to the next, convincing yourself that motion equals progress. But it doesn't. You can be moving fast and still be going in the wrong direction. I've seen it firsthand. Entrepreneurs working 12-hour days, hustling from one opportunity to another, but never feeling satisfied. Their schedules are full, but their hearts are empty. Their bank account might grow, but their peace does not. And that's the lie, that more equals more. But in God's economy, that's not how growth works. Sometimes more actually means less, because it means less joy, less focus, less time for things that truly matter. And the cost of that mindset is enormous. It creates burnout, anxiety, disconnection from the people you love with time you're never going to get back. And maybe most of all, it's a disconnection from the voice of God. Because when your life is filled with noise, you can't hear his direction. When your schedule is packed, you don't leave a space for his interruptions. And Proverbs 127:2 says it this way, "It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously work for food to eat, for God gives rest to his loved ones." That's not a call to laziness. It's a call to alignment with his will. God doesn't bless constant activity. He blesses intentional obedience. Think about it like this. Imagine revving your car's engine in neutral. The RPMs are screaming, the fuel is burning, but you're not going anywhere. That's what hustle does without clarity. It's loud, busy, and ultimately stuck in one place. But when you shift it into the right gear, when your activity aligns with your calling, suddenly the same energy starts moving forward. You're no longer striving, you're flowing. You're no longer chasing, you're being guided. So how do you actually break free from the hustle trap? Let me give you 3 practical steps right now. Number 1 is you need to audit your activity. Look at your week and ask yourself, what actually moves the needle? You'll find probably 20% of what you do drives 80% of your results. The rest is just noise. Number 2, you need to eliminate one thing. Pick a task, a meeting, or a habit that drains you and adds little value. Get rid of it, cut it. You don't create space by adding more to your schedule. You create it by subtracting something. And number 3, which is extremely hard for entrepreneurs to do, is you need to schedule margin in your calendar. You need to book time that isn't productive, things like prayer, rest, reflection. You'll be shocked how much more productive you become when you stop running at redline the whole time. Here's the bottom line. When you stop glorifying hustle, you start magnifying your results. Because rest isn't the reward for the hard work. It's the foundation that makes your work fruitful. And real quick, if this is resonating with you at all, I want to give you something that'll take this even deeper. I put together a free guide called the 12 Laws of Faith-Driven Success. It breaks down the most powerful biblical principles behind sustainable growth. The same truths that help entrepreneurs build momentum without burning out. Just check the link in the description to get a free copy. Okay, now once you stop glorifying hustle, the next step is learning how to grow without grinding so much. And that happens when you start building leverage, when you realize that doing less yourself doesn't mean less gets done. It means more gets done through the help of other people. Let's be honest, most entrepreneurs know they should delegate, but few actually do it well. And it's not because they don't want the help. It's because deep down, they believe no one else can do it like they can. But that mindset is going to keep you stuck. You end up spending your best energy on the smallest tasks, answering emails, posting updates, fixing things that someone else could have handled for $4 per hour. Meanwhile, the work that actually builds your business, things like strategy, leadership, creativity, vision, that gets whatever scraps of focus you have left from all the busy work you were doing. That's not leadership. That's survival. And survival mode is not scalable. Because here's the business truth. If everything depends on you, you don't own a business, you own a job. And you're probably working for your toughest boss yet. And I get it completely, because I used to be there. You think hiring people will cost too much. You think it'll take longer to train someone than to just do it yourself. Or you've tried outsourcing before and it didn't work. But what if the problem wasn't delegation? it was how you approached it. Because the goal of delegation isn't just take things off your plate, it's to multiply your capacity. It's to free your mind so you can finally work on your business instead of constantly working in your business. And here's the most beautiful part. We live in a time where you can outsource high quality work for a fraction of the cost. Did you know that you can hire virtual assistants, editors, designers, and specialists for $4 to $5 per hour? And when you do it strategically, that one decision can save you dozens of hours every single week. I've outsourced so much work and I've trained so many people how to do this. In fact, I'll link a video below that goes a little bit deeper on how to hire, train, and manage people around the world so you can grow your business faster and regain your peace. But for now, I want you to think about this from a biblical lens. Think about it like building a house. If you try to pour the foundation, wire the electricity, install the plumbing, and paint the walls all yourself, the house will never get finished. But when you trust others with the work, you finally have the freedom to design it, lead, and expand on that. And here's how you can start on that this week. Number 1, list the top 5 tasks that drain your time but don't require your expertise. Those are your first delegation candidates. Number 2, hire affordably and test small. You can start with a very simple task, using a virtual assistant for a few hours per week. You'll see how quickly your ROI and your time management is going to show up on that and how much more you're going to gain from that. And number 3, document this as you go. Record screen shares or notes on how you do things. That becomes your foundation for repeatable systems. You can actually just implement this stuff directly into ChatGPT or another large language model, and it will spit out a system for you. But that way you won't have to retrain this over and over again. Here's the bottom line. You don't need to do more to grow. You need to release more. Because when you let go of the small stuff, you make space for the big stuff God actually called you to do. And when you delegate well, you create space to think, to breathe, to lead. But here's the danger. If you don't build intentional habits around that space that you gain, it gets filled back up with busyness. That's why discipline matters just as much as delegation. It's the difference between running your business with peace and letting your business run you. And so that brings us to the last point. By this point, you stop glorifying hustle. You start delegating and building leverage. But here's the next step that separates momentum from mastery. You have to build habits and systems that carry your business forward even when your motivation dips. Because let's be real, discipline beats drive every single time. Motivation will get you started, but habits are what keep you consistent when life gets unpredictable. And consistency is the ultimate multiplier. See, most entrepreneurs don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they don't do what they know consistently. They build on adrenaline instead of rhythm, and that's why they burn out. Your habits are either working for you or they're quietly working against you. If your default is reaction, checking email first thing, saying yes to every opportunity, jumping between tasks, then your habits are stealing your focus. But if your default is intentional, start your day with prayer, blocking deep work hours, protecting time for rest, then your habits are actually building your future. Here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And that's why Jesus didn't live in constant chaos. He lived by rhythm. He prayed early in the morning. He withdrew often to rest. He knew when to say no to the crowd so he could say yes to his calling. And that is the secret to doing more by doing less. Habits automate what used to exhaust you. Think of it like flying a plane. When you first take off, everything's manual, constant adjustments, constant attention. But once you hit your altitude, you turn it on autopilot and it holds the course while you focus on the destination. That's what great habits do for a business and in your life. They create autopilot for excellence. Now let's get super practical. Here are 3 steps to start building habits that work when you don't. Number 1, first and foremost, you need to simplify your systems. Don't build 50 new routines. Start with one simple one. Start with a single daily ritual that aligns your mind and your focus. Maybe journaling your top 3 priorities for the day, or blocking your first 90 minutes for your most important tasks. Simplicity wins because consistency beats intensity. Number 2, say no by default. Every new opportunity, partnership, or idea comes with a cost, your time. So before saying yes, you need to ask yourself, does this move me closer to my mission, or does it distract me from it? Sometimes saying no is the most productive word you'll say all week long. Keep that in mind. Number 3, protect your energy, not just your hours. Time management alone doesn't work if your energy is gone. Plan your deep work, your most intensive work, the things you need your brain for the most, during your highest energy hours, and schedule your breaks before burnout forces them. The goal isn't to fill your day, it's to fuel it. Here's the bottom line. You don't need bigger goals. You need better habits. Because when your systems align with your calling, progress becomes automatic. And that's when you finally start doing more by doing less. Hustle might build momentum, but habits build mastery. And when you start doing less of the noise and more of what matters, you create space for God to move throughout your business. Now, if you're serious about finding real traction, not just busyness, then your next step is simple. If you're going to keep building momentum right now, Watch the next video on your screen. It's the 3 hidden growth levers that solve every small business pain point. Follow up to this message and it will show you how to take control of your money, reclaim your time, and finally grow with consistency without working harder. So go ahead, check that video out or grab the free guide that I mentioned earlier. It'll be linked in the description. Either way, you're one step closer to building your business with clarity, peace, and purpose.